Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Yggdrasil Roadshow. I am your host, Alexander Lapiniemi. I hope that you're all enjoying summer, because I sure am. Today, we're going to have a look at some smoking hot releases coming out in August, and a quick look at the network promo also happening in August. I'll be dialing up the studios in question. We're going to have a nice chat about the games. So I really do hope that you all enjoy that one. So first of all, we're going to have a look at the roadmap overview for August, September, and October. We got some really strong titles coming up here. There's lots to look forward to. There's plenty of different player demographics represented here in these games. So yeah, that's really cool stuff for sure. The network promo in August is Starfall. It's a very common mechanic at this point. The players, they know what they're getting into. They can expect some fast and easy, nice wins on the spin. So make sure you're opted in for that one by speaking to your account manager. Following that, starting in September, we have the Fortune Quest network promo series. It's going to be in 3 stages. They're not going to run consecutively. There's going to be a bit of a gap between each stage, and it's going to run from September all through November. And here we have what we're going to call the price drop double chance, which is essentially more prizes for the players. So do make sure you advertise that, and as always, check with your account manager that you are opted in to not miss out on this glorious opportunity. So the panel of today, I'm gonna be dialing up Ken from Hot Rise Games, and we're gonna have a look at the Monsters versus Gigablocks game. It's a really cool game, and as you sure can imagine, it's about monsters and Gigablocks. So plenty of good stuff there for sure. After that, I'll be calling up Andrew from Northern Lights, and we're going to have a look at another Gigablocks game. It's the Prized Pets. Animals still, or monsters animals? Well, sure they are. So a bit on the same theme, and of course with the awesome feature Gigablocks, that's another really cool game to look forward to as well. And last but definitely not least, I'm going to be calling up Hubert from Avatar UX, and we're going to talk about their upcoming pop game, Raging Pop. This game is, without spoiling too much, it's going to be a bit more aggressive take on the pop theme. So do stick around for that one as well. Let's get into the content, guys. I hope you enjoy. All right. With me today from Hot Rise Studios, I have Ken Williamson. Welcome to the call, man. Good to have you.
Thanks, Alexander. It's great to be here. Yeah.
Super duper. Today we're going to have a look at a real monster of a game, aren't we?
It's a big one. Yeah. Very big game.
Super cool. Yeah, without further ado, take it away. Show us what you got.
So, well, welcome to Monsters versus Gigablocks. And as we sort of said, it's a very big game. It's one we're really excited to bring to market. It's a lot of fun. Now, the most obvious thing about to mention first up with this one is that our implementation of Gigablocks is a bit different from the games that have gone before. So we've really enjoyed the Gigablocks games that have come through via Yggdrasil before, but we saw an opportunity to add something a little bit different by making the Gigablocks more random, so which adds sort of an extra element of unpredictability to the game. We retain the big blocks, of course, and a lot of the great visual cues that went into the other Gigablock slots. But the Gigablocks roam free here. They can pop up anywhere on the reels. And as you can see, I mean, on this spin here, we've had 3 different Gigablocks come up, all spread across the reels. And it allows things to combine and really increases the options for coinciding wins. So the blocks themselves, they can go all the way from 2x2 all the way up to 6x6. So you can take over the entire reels, and they can be any symbol, the lower order, higher order, scatter, wild. So it can be everything through. Okay, so we've just actually gone to the feature trigger here. So the number of spins you're awarded is directly related to how many scatters land. So in this instance, we've had 15 free spins, and we've been awarded the dominant symbol of the Congo King, our big gorilla, which is probably pretty familiar, if you probably understand the inspiration for that one. So he turns wild and goes golden for the feature. And in here, he's even in a single 1x1 block there, you can see how he can join up the other Gigablocks and start really adding to the win potential. Get those big wins up on screen a lot more often than otherwise. But what you're really looking for is to have him in a big block. And as I say that, there it goes. So he's just landed here in a 6x6. All the gold symbols on screen, it's exactly what you're looking for in this feature. That's going to pay for a little while. So in this feature though, in the free spins, you'll have the wild only any win that is a wild only will actually pay double what it would pay in the base game. So obviously that massively increases the win potential that you can get in the feature. That's going to pay a little while, so we might just click that through. Yep, there we go. And in general, as you go through the free spins, the blocks will tend to be larger. There's a lot more opportunity to get the 4x4s, the 5x5s, and the 6x6s than is in the base game. So, although the golden symbol is definitely what you're chasing and what the player will be searching for, those big golden blocks, there's still actually plenty of win potential just from the other blocks on the screen as well. You can easily get big 4x4 wins and 5x5 wins. Actually, that was a very handy one that just popped up as I was talking, which can take you through that. And so it also has a buy bonus feature, so which is at the cost of 75 times the stake in jurisdictions where that's allowed. And that'll take you through to the free spins feature with up to 34 free spins, so you can get a really good play out of that buy bonus. I mean, you can get, with a 34 spin sequence, you've got big opportunities for wins. As that goes through the free spins, there's only a couple left there. There's obviously a lot of variability there. You've got lots of different, you've got the 6 different characters. We anticipate that, players will have a great feature with a certain character and hopefully come back as having that as a favorite. But if they stick around and try all the different ones, they'll get a bit of variability in that feature as well. So that was a very successful free spins feature that's just wrapped up. And that probably wraps up as a very brief look at Monsters Versus.
That's very short and concise. Thank you for that presentation. I believe we covered all the topics really. We had a look at everything and some really timely triggers and wins there as you were talking as well. So very, very well done. But let me ask some questions about this game. Obviously, it's a familiar concept with the Giga blocks, right? And as you said, the character does look vaguely familiar. I can kind of spot where the theme is coming from, but if you could just tell us a little bit about the theme, like what the inspiration and the process of kind of coming up with the assets and these things.
Yeah, sure. Well, the characters themselves, they're all originals, although people who know their movie monsters could probably name inspirations for each one of them. Obviously, you've got the one behind me, the Congo King. He's probably the most obvious, but there's 5 other monsters there. There's all sorts of lizard monsters and aliens and all sorts of things that you can come through. Each one of them has their own big animations. It's really a game that our artists and our animators really enjoyed making. It's the sort of thing that they love to stick their teeth into.
Yeah,
and they've done really well here.
Yeah, for sure. I can really tell a lot of passion has gone into this project. I mean, it's a really, I want to use the word epic. It's like an epic kind of feel when you have these really big monsters and looking at the background, and also the music. It's very big. It's very.
It is. We've gone for we've definitely gone for the movie blockbuster type feel. Mm-hmm. I think that's a type of that really opens a broad range of people that'll be enticed to it, I think.
Yeah, 100%. For me, it's like when you open the game, it's like you're entering this epic adventure, right? You want to keep playing and you want to play through the game. But so I mean, cover the theme, we cover the music. So let's talk a bit about the math, because obviously it's a journey, right? When you open the game. So covering all these 3 topics, how have you kind of adapted this to the player? What is the player looking for? Where is the potential? If you can develop a little bit on that, what would you say?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, the theme actually kind of comes into that as well. I mean, with the 6 big monsters and that really, epic feel to things, we wanted to make sure that we had a game that appealed to kind of a broad range of people. So it's not a difficult chase for a player coming in. A less experienced player will come in. Big blocks are good, golden blocks are better. And that's what you're chasing. Especially once you get to that free spins, the big golden blocks. You see them coming through in big 4x4s and 5x5s. You want to land them. It's a pretty straightforward thing.
Yeah.
But there's still plenty there for an experienced player. Will realize that the way the Giga blocks are working here in the random sense, and that they can be all around the reels, it tends to group big wins together. If you kind of understand the way the game plays, you'll know that to be patient, because you can suddenly get a few big wins in a row that can really, blow the lid off. And really sort of match that same thing. So, I mean, volatility is quite high, but it's set for a lot of big wins rather than a really massive win. So instead of going for, a 40 or 50,000 top prize, we've tried to give away, 10 prizes of 4,000 times.
I like that balance. So instead of having like one single massive winner during a time frame, you'll have a lot of very happy winners, but maybe not the super extremely crazy big wins, right?
So exactly. That's what we've tuned this one for. Yeah, we never wanted to hide the big blocks away. So by doing that, we could have the big blocks come out more often.
Excellent.
Have that big win coming up more often.
So speaking of volatility, I always ask this question: like, if you had to place the volatility on a 1 to 10 scale, like where would this game rate?
This is quite high. It would probably be in the 8 to 9 sort of range.
8 to 9.
So it is quite volatile. Yeah, you'll regularly have those features. Will regularly be sort of 80 to 100 times your bet.
Yeah,
happens, but so do small ones sometimes. The Giga blocks are a great way of grouping wins. They can also be blockers at times. So they kind of, they give you a really interesting feel to the game where you can kind of feel that something's coming,
Yeah. I definitely get that. So looking at how the game plays out. So obviously the bonus round is where the magic happens, right? You want to hit it, you want to go in, you want to win. But what about the kind of the base game, the normal sort of spins? Like, do we have potential there as well?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, that's where Giga blocks actually is a really great feature. And although we've changed things about the way Giga blocks is being displayed here, we've tried to make sure we keep that, because I mean, even in a base game spin, Giga blocks kind of gives you the feel of a mini feature on every spin. You've got the different blocks coming in, the real view is changing. You've got great potential when the big blocks can fall in. And so we've really tried to amplify that, and we've kept all the Giga blocks cues of anticipating the reel that the Giga blocks is coming down on, as well as splitting those big blocks into small things to really highlight the coinciding wins as well. And I think that adds a heap to the base game. You don't. The feature is definitely where you're chasing for, of course, but if you're in the base game for a while, there's still lots happening, and the soundscape and everything kind of pushes forward towards that as well.
Exactly. It keeps the player entertained throughout the whole experience while having a very specific goal in mind. You want to hit this, you want to hit this, you want to achieve this, right? But still knowing that on every base game spin, you can still hit it big. It's an amazing feature. So looking at Giga blocks, right? There's a couple of Giga blocks games out there. So this is kind of the question we have to ask ourselves: how does this game compare to other Giga blocks games? What's the cutting edge? What's the leading edge?
Yeah, it's that the blocks can be random. The blocks aren't going to come in on the same reels. You'll get blocks in different parts, high and low. They can be different sizes. They combine in different ways. So, I might be biased, but I think we're taking the best part of Giga blocks and really adding something to it by just adding that random factor.
Excellent.
To where they're going to land.
Yeah. That's super cool. So to sum it up, we got an epic movie adventure. We got the Giga blocks feature, full of potential. It caters for most players, but of course we're gonna see a big uptick from Giga blocks fans already, and kind of I would say people that love adventure and a good movie blockbuster as well. Definitely within the target audience. So we have a pretty big target audience. Movies in general, very popular thing to do in the evenings. Netflix and chill, that's definitely a thing. So I'm really looking forward to this release, and thank you so much for this call, Ken, this presentation. Everything was super amazing. So with that, thank you, and have a good one.
You too.
All right, with me right now, I have Andrew from Northern Lights. He's going to show us the next upcoming game. And yeah, I'm super happy to have you here, man. Let's see what you got for us today.
Yeah, brilliant. Thanks, Alexander. And hello to everyone watching. This is our latest game on the Digital Masters platform. The game is called Prize Pets and features the great Gigablocks mechanic that we all know and love. The idea with this game was really to create a bright, colourful and fun game that will appeal across all player bases. So let's talk more about the features in the game. There's one random base game bonus that has a tease on there, a free spins bonus, and the player's favourite jackpot bonus, where you collect overprinted bones on the symbols, which add into a food bowl, which will trigger the jackpot bonus. So talking about the base game itself, there are 4 high and 4 low symbols. What you're looking out for is at the start of every spin, there's a potential that one of the pets, the high symbols, appears over the reels. Whatever pet appears, its corresponding low symbol will then turn wild at the end of the spin. You need to watch out because there's also quite a nice near miss chance on that feature. As you can see, the dog's coming in here. The dog triggers the dog food bonus and they all go wild on the next spin. We also have free spins, and free spins is triggered by landing 5 or more in view. Free spins itself will offer bigger wins, more base game wins, and you can still trigger the jackpot feature from there. So as you can see, we'll just trigger the bird symbol. This means that the sunflower seeds, the lower symbols corresponding with that symbol will turn wild for the next spin. You should get a nice win. Also handy to know that free spins will re-trigger, which is great from a player perspective. In the base game and in free spins, you're also looking out for the bone overprints that we talked about earlier. Now these bone overprints appear on the symbols in the bottom corner. These add into the food bowl, which is above the reels on the left-hand side, and eventually that will trigger the jackpot bonus. Now with the jackpot bonus, again, we keep the fun feel and theme running through this. It's a very sort of players know this bonus and they know what to expect. You've got to pick and match 3 of the same symbols, and when you do, you win that corresponding trophy and that corresponding jackpot. And look, lo and behold, as if we've done this previously, you've won the main jackpot on this. I think what we're trying to do with the game is try to create something that's really, really bright and fun. And we're very proud of what we've done. We've really enjoyed working with the Gigablocks mechanic. And we hope you like the game too.
Awesome stuff. Thank you for the presentation, Andrew. Like very short and concise. It's how we like it. Condensed information for all the viewers. Yeah, I have to say, like I'm really a fan of the theme. I gotta say, like I just loved all the characters, like how it appears in the features and together with the sounds. It's just absolutely phenomenal. But like speaking of the theme, can you walk us through a bit like the process? Like how do you come up with a theme in particular and the music and
so game development is never quite straightforward, but this game actually came together unusually really well for us.
Look at that.
I know it never happens, right? But we had this mechanic. We had the Gigablocks, and we had an idea for this base game where it tied in 2 of the symbols.
Yeah,
and we were trying to work out what works well. And one of the guys thought about pets, and you've got the pet and the dog food, and could we somehow join them together? And then we looked at what's around in the market at the moment. You have quite a lot of dog-based games which do very well, and cat-based games we know do very well anyway. But we've never seen like a complete pet-based game. So we thought, well, why not try and make a fun type feel? You don't want this to be a serious game. If you're talking about pets, you want it to be fun and bright and colourful. Yeah. So we love the Gigablocks mechanic, but we also wanted to add just a little bit of a plus to it. So we put the jackpot feature in there as well, and we know that resonates with players, and really the players like that added functionality. So it's on this one occasion, the game actually came together really well, and from a sound viewpoint, it's really easy when you've got the visuals like this that, you know, are just a little bit different from the concept. Not much, but just a little bit different from the concept.
Yeah.
The actual the sounds were really easy to follow on. It's just, you know, very tongue-in-cheek, very light, and, you know, yeah, just a good feel to the game.
Excellent. Yeah, light and easy to digest, like a very entertaining game with something that, you know, we're all familiar with, obviously, pets. Me being a big dog person, obviously, like the dogs are my favorite, you know, so it's something that resonates well with me. Speaking about the theme and the music, let's talk a bit about the math and kind of how that weighs into the choices you made with the design. So, like, where you mentioned that the potential is in the bonus game, like this is where I assume you hit the win cap. This is where everybody wants to go to get the big potential. But can you also hit nice wins in the base game? Like, is there potential on a normal spin, so to say? Like, what?
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. We talk a little bit more about the logic. I'm happy to, you know, go into a little bit more detail with everyone here. So, you know, we have 4 gates. We have, it's 96% RTP, but obviously we do various RTPs in different jurisdictions. On average, there's a end winning just over 3 sort of games. That's on average. The hit rate on the base game is around about 3.5, 1 in 3.5, 1 in 4, and the free spins is pretty normal stuff. It's a hit rate of around about 200, and you've got the bonus game, which triggers more frequently, obviously, around about the 1 in 40, 1 in 50. But the big one, the jackpot, obviously, because you've got some large sums in there, but it's not too far out. You know, it's 1 in 650. So it's
really?
not too, it's got an average of over 60 for that bonus game. So, you know, if you hit that, you've got a good chance of, you know, getting some nice wins there. The free spin itself, the average around about 30, but it does, you know, it is sort of medium volatility, the game, so you can get some nice wins in there as well. And the random wild bonus, you can also get some like 40, 50, 60 pound wins from those as well, but the average is around about 10 pounds for that base game bonus. We didn't want to put a really volatile sort of background or a math model on this theme, because the theme is quite light and fun.
Exactly.
We did want to add, you know, that added just plus element of the jackpot feature, and, you know, we've seen that on, everyone's seen that on lots of games.
Definitely,
and we felt it was something that, you know, the Yggdrasil Masters side was missing a little bit. So we thought, you know, let's put it on there, and you know, fingers crossed. We hope it will do really well.
Yeah, I think it's a nice way how you kind of really gave some consideration to the theme and the music and the math, how it all comes together quite well with a more featuresque sort of game that won't drain your wallet completely, you know, in a short amount of time. It's a game where you can entertain yourself for quite some time and have a good time. I mean, in the end of the day, like, what we're dealing with here is the thrill of the spin. We want players to get excited. We want players to understand how they can win, to feel the thrill. And I think the jackpots is a great addition, because you have them in front of you. You can see that that's a number. That's an amount of money that I can potentially win. So let's keep on spinning, because that's interesting. I am one of those people. If I have a number in front of me, I'm thinking, I want that number. I want that amount of dollars.
Exactly.
So I think it's really like easy and engaging mechanic combined with the Gigablocks and the rest. I think this is a very nice game.
Well, thanks. I mean, the Gigablocks mechanic we've always really liked, and we'll try to keep that very true to its original sort of format. I mean, it's important to know, I think, just for everyone listening, is that we designed the games purely for mobile first and desktop is afterwards. So you're going to get a great experience on portrait in particular with this game. You know, it's not you know, it's all about the mobile experience first. And then
that's very, very interesting, because we've seen, like, obviously, like most players, well, it's a bit market dependent, but in general, most players are on a mobile device, be it an iPad or a phone, a pad or a phone. So
Yeah,
I mean, the portrait view is something that a lot of games struggle with. It looks really weird. You have the usage of space is strange because
it can
obviously
be, yeah.
so I think that's a really smart move that you did there. I mean, you really gave some thought to everything here, and I really appreciate that. We mentioned volatility. Just want to touch on that very quickly here. On a scale 1 to 10, where would you place the volatility of price
This
bets?
would be around the 6-7 mark. Obviously, it depends on how you measure volatility, but in our scenario, around about 6 and 7. It's
okay.
it's
So
just
like
above the mid.
just above the mid. So what that tells me, correct me if I'm wrong, is that it is a game that you can maintain the balance in, that you can have fun with for a longer time, but there's also potential here to score a win that is interesting for even players that maybe typically play more volatile games. Would that be a correct
I
assumption?
think that's a fair assessment. I think there are times and places to do that, the really volatile games.
Yeah.
And we just felt that this mechanic really didn't lend itself to it. So we were erring on that side of let's go for that mid where you can get those big wins, but it's not going to, rip your arm off and you'll go 40, 50 spins without a win or something like that. It's not that type of game. So hopefully we've got the balance right in there.
Excellent. Well, I think we covered everything. We had a really deep dive into the game, and we had a good presentation on the game as well. So I think me and everybody else, we're really looking forward to the release here, and I'll let that be the concluding words of the day. So thank you so much for joining the Roadshow.
Thanks a lot, Alexander.
I'll see you next time. Hello, Hubert, Spala, and welcome to the Yggdrasil Roadshow. Really good to have you here today, man.
Thank you. It's great to be here too, and great welcome to the Roadshow audience.
Excellent. So today we're going to have a look at the next game from Avatar UX, another game in the Pop series. So please take it away.
All right, thank you. So Raging Pop is quite unique to all of other games because the first surprise that will welcome the players when entering the game is that we don't actually have pop in Win extension in the base game. So the symbols will pop, will be replaced with the new symbols. That's whole in, and that's very good and very nice. But the reels do not extend. And they do not extend for a reason, because we have a new unique mechanic in this game, which is the Raging Reels and Raging Rhinos. So the player will see the rhinos crossing the reels with the random multiplier, but there's a lot of things happening here actually. Not only we are getting a nice, huge multiplier that we can see right now is actually 100, and it can be even bigger, so that's fantastic. But also when that happens, the reels extend. And when they extend, they of course give the player more chance to actually win something to trigger that multiplier. So it's a little bit like a compound effect. First, we get a nice huge multiplier, which is good. Then we extend the reels to give the player even more chances to actually land a winning combination. And when this winning combination is landed, well, we can enjoy a very nice substantial win with this multiplier. And of course, due to this expanding reels, we do not give the extension from the pop wins. However, this will be reiterated into the bonus game. Now what we are seeing is our new second most important feature, which is the multi-stage gamble. So one of our pain points that we had before addressed and feedback to us is that our gamble is of course very nice, but also very harsh. You can win a lot or lose everything, right? So with the multi-stage gamble, we address it as well. Not only we offer a chance to win up to 30 free spins, which is nice, but also if you actually lose on a previous stage, instead of losing everything, you are just getting a little bit less free spins, but you still enter bonus round. And you can still play the free spins with everything that is in it. So when we are in the free spins, there's quite a lot of things happening, and there's a lot of things going on. So first of all, we engage once again the full pop win mechanic. So once again, everything pops, everything extends. You are getting this delicious flow that our players are used to. And on top of that, we of course have the Raging Reels again. So not this time, every time you spin a game, you have a chance to land this new multiplier, real expansion, the whole shebang, and you can get new multipliers and new wins, as you can see right now. So every spin has a potential to be huge and massive, especially that the multiplier can be very high. And with this high multiplier, every win can transform into something substantial. On top of that, just to spice it up, to make sure that having 30 free spins is something very good, we introduce one extra mechanic into the free spins, which is the progressive reels growth. As you can see, next to the free spin counter, we have those fireballs, and they are actually counting down. They're counting down spins, and every spin, nothing really happens. However, if we count down 10 spins, the reels will extend all of them by one size, and this size will be locked for the duration of the rest of the free spins. So actually, if the player has 30 free spins, the maximum amount that can be get, they can expect the last free spins to actually offer as maximum potential as they can, because all the reels will be almost extended to the max from the get-go. You will literally just need one win to expand them to the maximum size. And of course, with the maximum size, we have the 235,000 ways. So that's a lot of ways to actually win something. And if you add to that our random multiplier that can appear in virtually every spin, the potential is pretty huge. It also means that the game is a little bit on the volatile side, but well, we know that there are players that very much like that, and the volatility allows us to give some substantial wins. And I mentioned it before, the highest possible multiplier. Well, I will say, which is 500. So 500 is substantial. You can transform any win, literally any win, the smallest possible win, into something big with the 500 multiplier. And of course, the multiplier sticks through the entire spin cycle. So if you have 500 multiplier and keep on winning using our pop win mechanic, you can win and win and win very big numbers very, very quickly. Of course, this is a very special situation. The 500 multiplier is a rare one, but it is a delicious one, and it can transform the win on the lowest symbol into something big. And there's one thing that I forgot to mention, so I just added because it's a minor addition, but a very nice one, which is the titular Rhino is a special symbol. It is a super high symbol that starts winning from not 3 of a kind, but 2 of a kind. So that's a little extra on top. With the addition to the wild symbol in the bonus game as well, the chances of actually winning something rise and rise exponentially.
Wow, that's amazing, man. That sounds super cool. Thank you so much for the presentation. The game looks amazing. I mean, everybody can see the potential here. Like it can really go crazy. All roads lead to Rome, but all ways leads to pop. Many ways to win, super juicy. But let's talk a bit about the theme you decided to go with here. Can you walk us through like the sort of the landscape we're in, the characters we're facing here in the game? Like,
of course,
what's behind all this?
The decision behind the game is always interesting when it comes to that, because it's a lot of different angles how we can tackle that. The thing is that we really just wanted a game themed with African theme. We wanted to have the savannah, we wanted to have these animals, we wanted to have this. Because it was something, if you notice in our previous games, in our portfolio, we really don't have anything like that. We have hippo, which is, some would say is very close, but it really isn't. When you see these two games next to each other, they look completely different and have very different feel. Hippo is much softer, much gentler. Raging pop, as the name suggests, should be much more kinetic, hard-hitting, exactly. And you can feel it when you play it. When the raging rhinos actually charge through the screen, it is an event, it is an experience. There is something happening there. So we wanted to make a high volatility game and fit a theme that is, let's say, traditionally ascribed to this kind of games. And rhinos, well, rhinos and bisons are the two animals that you always toss in a game that can win you big, but is also a little bit on the aggressive side.
Yeah, that sounds super good. And I mean, the colors are also very beautiful. I think also like you're combining this kind of aggressive sort of feel and the way you win with some soothing colors, but still quite, you know, intense with the lightning in the background and
yes. It was joining to the multiplier. So the initially multiplier was supposed to be pure lightning, but for the functionality and readability, we had to tone it down a little bit. But you can still see a little bit of that in the game. And the multiplier is governed by the lightning energy that moves it around between the counter and the game.
So for the designers, like, so initially they got a mission, like make something really, really aggressive. We want power, we want everything. And then you have to kind of, okay, let's take it down a little bit down.
Yeah, exactly. Because, it's good to have something that is really hard hitting, but we also want to make sure that you can actually comprehend what is going on the screen.
Yeah, and about the music and the sounds, like how did you select the music to the game and the kind of the winning sounds? Like what were your thoughts there? Was it the same kind of process with the aggression, or
Yes,
something
it's
else there?
similarly driven. We always want to have this one point in game that is we consider the most crucial, the most important. So of course, in Raging Pop, it's the charging rhinos, the raging reel. This feature was supposed to hit hard and make sure that everyone who feel it can see that there is something important happening in the game. So this was like the first point we actually designed the sound for. We wanted to have the charging rhinos. So when you are listening to it very closely, you can hear that we actually have animal tracks playing in the background, so you can hear the rhinos doing the whole snorts and growls and all of that
wow,
stuff.
that's super good.
Yes, it's a very complex sound actually. Of course, it's a little easy to lose it in the whole game, but it's still a main focus. And when you are seeing it, it is the impact. And started from that point, we actually started building on other sounds to make sure that none of them encompasses this main sound of this feature, but also fit, of course, the theme of the game. There's one idiosyncrasy that is our very own. So when you are winning big wins of any kind, we always use the same 4 musics, but just themed for a certain game theme. I think this is actually a little bit of a tasty bit of our brand. When you are winning something big, you will always hear the familiar tones, just in a different dulcet tones.
Yeah, definitely. I think that's a very smart way of doing it. Like on the one hand, you want to, create some original features and sounds, but I think it's also very good to stay true to the kind of brand, to your fan base, to your players, right? You gave us a pretty good explanation on how this game is different from other pop games. But if you could explain once more, because obviously there was some difference in the features in the base game and the bonus game, but explain to us again, how is it different to the other?
Of course, the key feature change that the players will have to kind of bash against is, of course, the pop win, because the pop win is our classic, right? It's what we always have in some way or form. This one is the biggest change to its core behavior, because in the base game, it pops, but it doesn't extend the reels. And that might be a little shocker for someone who is expecting a regular pop experience. This core mechanic is, of course, fully functional in the bonus game, but in the pop, in the base, it was replaced with this random reel extension. So it is more volatile. It happens a little rarely, but rewards the player in a different way, because with the regular pop wins, we get extensions piecemeal, right? We extend bit by bit, reel by reel. In this feature, when you get the extension, you just get the extension of all the reels at once. So if it hits, it's much more impactful on the moment it happens, right? Because you just expand all reels by 1 or by 2 even, which is of course crucial. And why we decided to do it is because for this random multiplayer. So every time it happens, you also get this random multiplayer, and it can be, once again, up to 500. So that's a big one. And we wanted to make sure that the player has the most chance to actually capitalize on this multiplayer. So having bigger board that fills up with the symbols is the way to do it. And this is the key feature change of this game to facilitate our random multiplayer. But there is one extra change, which is also, I consider, very important, which is our multi-stage gamble, which we most likely in some form of way incorporate into other future games, because it once again gives the player this fun gamble feature, which can give them the chance to win more, but without being so punishing our previous games, that if you are giving this a bet and lose all the spins, it might be a little, not ideal, but here you have the chance to recuperate and still get some free spins to actually play the bonus.
Excellent. That's a very good way of putting it. I think we all get now in what way this game is different. We're seeing a red thread here. It's about more aggressive, more volatile, more hard hitting, basically.
Absolutely.
So speaking of volatility, on a scale 1 to 10, where would you position Raging Pop?
That's a good question. It's always scales.
It kind of feels like a 10 out of 10 if you ask me. Like,
yes. I would definitely go that way. I like to be conservative because when I am giving 10 out of 10, 10 for me is like, the absolute pinnacle. Like you can't go back. So I would give it a 9. I still believe that you can squeeze something even more ferocious. But this one is definitely an extremely aggressive game. It will test your patience. It will test you too. But if you land something, it will reward you humongously.
That's excellent. That's excellent. So when it comes to the thrill of the spin, so I'm getting here from your explanation that this game is more weighted towards the bonus round. You want to get in there and you want to go absolutely crazy. But in the bonus round, if I understand correctly, there's also great potential to be found in the base game, right?
Yes. Of course, that's the secret of our random multiplier, because the random multiplier can really hit you hard. So in the base game, it still exists, and you can always get it. And it's just a stroke of luck, right? That you are just having a single spin, and suddenly, blam, you are being hit by 100 multiplier, and then you win on the golden rhinos, and you win on the golden riders of the 100 multiplier, and suddenly a win of 500, 1,000, or even more is completely within your grasp within the base game.
Excellent stuff. So do you think that fans of the previous pop games, will they still like this more aggressive game, or is this catered to a new crowd, would you say?
Well, of course, it's a bit of a mix. Since we are still reincorporating the pop win mechanic, we still count that the pop win fans will be delighted to try it out. But yes, this game is definitely more aimed for players who want to have this hard-hitting, aggressive game that will test what they can actually get within the spins.
Excellent. That's really good. So we got the nice African theme here with the animals. We got the kind of raging pop as the aggression is the center of the game. And I think this is a pretty good presentation. We summed it up quite well. Thank you so much for tuning in, Hubert. And yeah, I'll see you next time. Thank you for joining.
Thank you very much. It was a pleasure.